Good afternoon, everybody. We'll hang out for a second. We'll wait for a few people to jump on live. Hopefully get some live questions. But I'm sure a few people will be able to watch this back because this is something we get asked about more than nearly anything else. How do I get my first pull-up, chin up? What's the best way to go about it? Why do we use different grips that we use? And some variations that the pros use to get you that first pull-up, which should be a goal for all of you, really. In terms of upper body exercises, it's got to be pretty close to being the king. In terms of most amount of muscles used, the most amount of tension you can put through your back, your biceps, even works your chest a little bit, shoulders, forearms, everything like that. So, most people are a bit intimidated by doing pull-ups, but it's not something you need to be too intimidated of, especially if you can get hold of some bands. So, we've got 10 people watching, we'll get started. These are some of the bands you can get. There's a few different colours here. There you go. So these are the different bands that you use. If you can't do a pull-up yet, or you're not very good at doing pull-ups, you can do under 5. I'd recommend buying a couple of these, okay? So obviously the thicker it is, the more resistance you're gonna get. Now, I'm such a big fan of using bands for pull-ups over using a machine like we have over here. So we have like an assisted pull-up machine over there, and we have a lat pull-down machine. But I'm a massive fan of using bands for assisted pull-ups over using a lat pull-down machine or an assisted chin-up. The reason for that being is that in a pin-loaded machine, it's going to assist you to do the pull-up. It's going to give you 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos of resistance, of assistance, the whole range through. Now, when you're doing a pull-up, most people can't get started from the bottom. So the hardest part of the pull-up is between here and here when your elbows are at 90 degrees, okay? So once you can get to here, no one can get to here. Everyone that can get to here can get all the way up because it's the easiest part of the movement, okay? Once the elbows are past 90 degrees, it gets easy to pull your chin over the bar. So you need more assistance at the bottom of the movement, and as you get higher and higher, you need less. Now, if you look at the band, right, as it's stretched, you're gonna get more and more assistance at the bottom while your knees or your feet are in the band. And at the top of the movement, you're not gonna get much assistance at all because you don't need it. So it changes the strength curve. It gives you assistance where you need assistance. And this is gonna give you the strength and work more of the muscles in the inner back, the rotator cuff, the rhomboids, all these muscles on the inside of the back to help you get those pull-ups eventually so you get strong enough. Something else that people struggle with in terms of pull-ups is their grip strength. So you're not gonna get strong enough to do a pull-up if you keep doing just lat pull-downs and assisted grip chin-ups. So you need to start doing it. You need to start doing some isometric holds, which I'm gonna run you through in a little bit. And you just need to get under the bar and give it a crack. Today we're doing it from a cable machine cage. If you don't have one of these, you've just got a bar somewhere at home, you can still use it. I'll show you how we set up the bands now. So we'll start off with some band assisted pull-ups, and I'll set it up quickly. Close enough. Beautiful, so you just take it here and loop it around here. Now when you're learning to do a pull-up, the easiest grip you can do is a close neutral grip, okay? From there you're gonna be the strongest. You have the most leverage from using your arms, your shoulders, and your back. As your hands turn out and you go wider and wider and wider, it's gonna get more and more difficult. So when you're starting out, if you have it available to you, go the close neutral grip like this. If you've only got a straight bar, you can still use the bands, just loop it around and tie it down and go the underhand grip, so the supinated grip, and that's gonna be the easiest variation for learning with the straight bar. So today we're gonna run you through a couple of different grips and I'll show you how to set up with the bands. So we've got a box down the bottom here, so it makes it nice and safe to jump up. If you've got a friend, a partner, or a personal trainer, it's gonna make it easier. Go over here, please, Grace. Beautiful. So she's gonna take a close neutral grip on the inside, just next to the bands. Beautiful, jump off for me. Both easy. I'm going 4 reps for you, please. And last one. So one little thing you might want to look out for is just make sure the band doesn't flick up, hit you in the face. It does help having someone to assist you with that. Now I'm going to run you through a couple quick variations on that you can do at the end of your workouts. Guys, if you want to do pull-ups, there's a couple variations I'm going to show you. And if you add them in for 5 minutes at the end of every workout, within 2-3 weeks, most of you who aren't massively overweight should be able to do it once you understand how to pull properly, okay? So, Grace, I'll get you to jump in here, please. Grab a close neutral bit for me. And I want you to do a 15-second hold at the top. Let's go. So what Grace is doing right now is an isometric hold at the top of the movement. This is going to work all the muscles in the forearms, the arms, the biceps, the back in the isometric contraction. The back responds very well to isometric contractions. You done?
Yep.
Well done. You're going to do more of those, mate. The back responds really well to this. And simply holding yourself at the top of the movement, doing these isometric contractions with the lats and the biceps and arms, one is going to make those forearms stronger, which might be the weak link for you doing the pull-up, but will lead to you being strong enough to do these eventually. Have a little rest. There's a few other variations, but I'll let Grace have a little rest for a second. Let's see if we've got some questions. Good morning, hello. Which band thickness are you using? So Grace is using the pretty fat black one at the moment. Tune up's one of her weaker exercises. Her squat's very good, but her back's a bit weak. No offense. There's some blue ones, black ones, red ones. Guys, the thickness doesn't really matter. You just find one that you can use that's strong, that gives you enough tension to help you get up. Any other questions? All right, Gracie, jump in here for me. Let's go. You don't get a band this time, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do some negative reps, okay? This is probably my number one tip for building up enough strength to do a full pull-up by yourself. So I'll run you through the exercise we're going to do, and I'll come over and explain it after. Grab onto the neutral grip for me, please. Hold yourself. Let's go 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up. Hold. 5, 4. Slow it down. Pull the elbows in. 3, 2, 1. Up. Last one. Let's go. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Well done. So as you can see, we did 5-second counts today. If you can do 3 seconds, if you can do 6 seconds, the timing doesn't matter too much. I just know for Grace, the 5 seconds is kind of the sweet spot for her. But guys, if you can control yourself with that slow eccentric, you will become strong enough to do your own pull-up by yourself. What else? Some other pointers. All right, guys, from the contraction of doing a pull-up, I'll do a couple of examples and I'll come over and explain to you what I've been doing. What I'm thinking about before I initiate my pull-up is I'm making sure I get a full stretch at the bottom. So working that full range of motion all the time, okay? One thing I see a lot of people do wrong at the gyms is doing these half reps, especially with pull-ups, not going to the full stretch, the full range of motion. If you're not strong enough to do the full chin-up, that's fine. Grab the band and do the full rep properly, okay? What else? What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about pulling my elbows in, keeping everything tight, getting that full stretch. And what I'm doing, okay, when I initiate the movement, I'm thinking about driving my elbows back and trying to knock someone out behind me, okay? The more explosive, and more speed you have with the elbows, the more power you're going to generate through the lats. So the biggest mistake I see, especially on females doing the lat pull downs, is from here when they pull here, okay? Pull here. As you can see, the elbow's not coming past the back at all. But when they do that, females notoriously, or most of the ones I've ever trained, have weak shoulders and weak arms. So what they're doing, no, they have strong shoulders, strong arms with weak backs. So they're pulling with their arms and with their shoulders. They're not initiating any work through the lats at all. So if you think about driving elbows down hard and fast, you're going to generate enough speed and enough power to complete the movement properly. So there's a few tips, a few pointers I'd probably recommend to build up the chin-up strength. You know, doing some full reps with the bands, some isometric holds, and some slow negatives. I hope that helps. Doesn't matter if you pull your legs in front, so as long as you're pulling up fully. Look, you're better off keeping your legs stiff. I don't know why you'd want to pull your legs up. I guess some people do it when they do the cheating reps. They're pulling themselves up, trying to use anything they can, which turns it into more of a row. Yeah, another good point, guys. This is probably an isometric hold for at the top of a pull-up or a chin-up. It's the only ab exercise you'll probably ever need. You can attribute to that, can't you? Nah, you'll be struggling. Like, and for me, from my point of view, in terms of direct ab training, I'm not a big fan of it. But if you're doing this and you want to hit your abs, you know, an isometric hold for as long as you can, 3 of those at the end of your workout, that's going to flog the abs. Holding yourself tight and steady. And I don't like to use the word functional, but it's using the abs for what they're supposed to do, not some fucking crunch variation, which I like a lot. Any other questions, guys? Anything else you want to see while I'm here? I've got a free gym, all to myself. Best live ever doing this today. Yeah, I hope that helps, guys. So obviously we get lots of questions about this, but it's the first time. I just figured I'd just show you guys step by step exactly what you need to do. Do you pull your bar right down to the bottom of your neck, top of the chest in a lat pull down? So when you're doing a lat pull down, I aim for my top of my sternum. Just here it goes, boom, boom, squeeze at the bottom. You would have noticed in Grace's reps, she always pauses at the top of every rep, and the same thing with lat pull downs occur. Taking the momentum out of the movement, and just like I said before, the lats and the muscles of the back respond really well to isometric contractions. So an isometric contraction is when you hold something and you pause. Okay. Robin, I'm going to stick with assisted pull-ups for the moment, 2 weeks for the real ones. No, you're not, Robin. You just need to use the bands. And absolutely you're strong enough. A lot of people have a bit of a fear of trying it, but guys, just get under it, give it a crack. When the bands around your knees, you'll actually see how much assistance you actually get, especially at the bottom range of motion. And guys, if one band's not enough, put 2 together. You can use 2, that's fine. There's going to be a huge difference, a huge carryover in your training. And I guess it's just like anything. You can take the easy option we're saying, or you can do it fucking properly and get proper results. But it comes down to how much work you're willing to put in. Carla, this is great, and my aim is to do 1 pull-up, so this is fabulous for me. Guys, if you're watching this and you like the video, please tap a like for me, or even give it a share, so I can reach more people, help more people. And I'll try and get in here and do some more lives from the gym, especially when I've got it empty like this. It's awesome. So I will catch you later.